Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and making some really good trades, and we got a very nice pop in Bitcoin today, and I bet the bulls were very happy, and boy am I gonna get crucified now if I am wrong about my bearish call. But again, there's always the possibility that Bitcoin could go higher, right? So again, we're going to revisit that possibility right now. We're going to get right into the analysis. And if you guys want to help support the channel, feel free to sign up to Fairdesk's training. That is actually where I'm doing all my copy trading for all my trades. And you guys can actually sign up right there. Link's free in the description. You guys get a really nice sign up bonus as well. Okay, you guys can also find me on copy trading on that video. Sorry, on that website. But I'll make a video explaining everything, and it'll probably entice a little bit more people once I break it down for you guys. But anyways, let's get into the analysis now. Right now, Bitcoin has broken out of this trend line here. You guys can probably tell, you know, we have this down sloping trend line from this pivot point, this pivot, these two pivot points right there, and another one right there. And finally, we got a daily close above this white trend line. Now, what we need to see is we need to see the price maintain above this white trend line and actually see some follow through, right? So now we need to see follow through with the Bitcoin price breaking out of this white trend line for the bullish case to play out, right? For this to have, for the seed wave to have bottomed out now, for this to be over, and for this wave 2 to be finally in, you really need to see the price start to take off into a wave 3, because now you could have the possibility that this wave 2 is in here and now you are forming a bullish pattern and you're going to start to break out in a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And obviously this 4 and 5 can take you to higher highs and stuff like that. But what you need to do first is you got to take out these first pivots, right? These previous pivots at 27,500, and then the next pivot right here at 28,200, and then you have this big red bar on the weekly time frame of massive resistance right around 29,250, right? Because right now, even though you've got a nice move today, you got a daily close above the white trend line, the weekly pattern is still a weekly pattern chart, like a weekly pattern failure of the bullish scenario, and now you're putting in a bearish consolidation inside this red bar. So again, not looking that great for the bulls still, right, on the bigger pattern. And if you look at market cipher, we'll get into market cipher. We'll start off with the larger time frames. Taking a look at market cipher, you have a 16 and a -5 right on the monthly time frame. Taking a look at the weekly is actually starting to firm up. So the weekly is firming up, looking a little bit better. You actually have a green dot that has signaled, but again, you have red money flow coming into the downside here. And I never like when the weekly time frame has red money flow for obvious reasons. I have made a very abundant, like large chart here showing the history of Bitcoin entering red money flow on the weekly time frame. It's very detailed here, so I can get into it very quickly. So you can see, you know, as we get into the bear market, we cut into red money flow, and it's just a complete disaster. It's chop, it's downside action. You have fake pumps, and then it reverses and it goes back down. And eventually, once you cut back into the green, it's, you know, that's your bull cycle, and you come back and you start to move, right? But now we're starting to see that Bitcoin could potentially fake us out a little bit in the past as well, when it can temporarily enter green money flow with a very small amount of it and then cut back into the red, meaning the bear market is not over yet, right? So you guys can probably tell we had this similar situation in 2019. Obviously, there's not much data to go off of, but for the data that we have on hand, you guys can see we were in red money flow. We rallied up, sort of like what we're doing right now, and then, you know, we consolidated at the highs. We came back into red money flow, and then we just saw more chop, sideways price action, and eventually it came back down like for a total of like 35% after you cross into that red money flow. It might have been a little bit more, it's actually this candle here. But overall, you guys get the big picture. And right now, right, we had that green money flow, this ginormous bull market in Bitcoin, and now we cut back into red money flow. We had a monster drop of like 64%, and now we are starting to do a very similar thing where we actually got a very small amount of green money flow, and now we're starting to cut back into the red. And yes, it's we could very easily come back up into the green as well. We're printing a green dot on the weekly, and looking at the daily time frame, we actually still have red money flow, but it is starting to firm up. So the bulls have a chance to make a stand here and actually take it a little bit higher, at which point we'll have to see if it turns into a bullish pattern or if it just extends the B wave higher, and then eventually the C wave is going to go lower. Oh, that's not the C wave, this one right here. So if the C wave is going to extend lower, so we'll have to see if the bulls take it up tomorrow with maybe some PCE data, and then eventually we start to roll over after that and we take it lower, or if it's a definitive bottom, right, at which point I need to see more evidence of something breaking out here. I need to see an impulsive wave 3 start to taking out some highs. That'll be the first indications that we may go a little bit higher. But again, we really need to see conviction of buyers start to come in, and then this is where we can take a look at wave edge. And when we look at wave edge on the daily time frame, we did see a little bit of accumulation here, and then we saw a quick rally, and then a dump back down towards the downside. And now we actually have a red cross here on the daily. We have been falling since then, but we haven't had a massive move towards the downside. Sometimes you can even go a little bit higher, but eventually you'll see some whales start to sell, and then they'll take it lower after that, right? So we've seen this in the past as well. We've seen these red crosses come and go, and then once they can eventually play out very nicely, right? Another red cross here, big drop, right? We saw a red cross here, but it didn't amount to anything, and then another one here actually ended up dropping a fair bit. I cannot get a little bit. There we go. So it dropped a fair bit there as well, and this one obviously led to a huge drop. But eventually, I don't know if you would have stayed in your trade for over a month and a half, right? It's all about your risk tolerance, your time frame of your trade. Maybe you're looking for a week-long trade or a couple of weeks, and then maybe you would have stopped out here. Maybe you would have taken not stopped out, but maybe you would have taken your profits right there at 29,000. That would have been enough for you, right? It's all up to you what you want to do. Right now, I still think that the bigger picture on the weekly time frame, it is going to head lower. And looking at the 4 hour, we'll dig into maybe some shorter time frames. On the 4 right now, you do have one small red cross, and then on the 1 hour, you have a couple of red crosses as well. And again, just to follow up, I am still bigger picture bearish, but I will never rule out the possibility that we're gonna go higher, right? That we can go higher, and regardless of where we go in the short term, I don't really care, because I'm always long Bitcoin in the long run, and I always have my bags ready. And I'm hoping that we actually do have this bearish scenario play out, because it will allow a lot of people to start accumulating even more BTC at some even cheaper prices, and that'll extend the wave 2. And actually, we could consolidate at these levels for a fair bit of time until maybe the end of the year or into April. It's all up to what the market is going to do. We're looking at the S&P right now. We may take it with not just the S&P and the dollar as well. Looking at the dollar, we got a pullback today, and we're starting to see a little bit more selling happening in the dollar as well. This is very bullish for the markets. If we see the dollar starting to come back down, you're going to see bids starting to happen in the S&P. This is not the S&P, that's the Japan index. So this is the S&P right here. So we saw that we actually had a nice little update today in the S&P, and that coincided nicely with the dollar pulling back. But you're going to get some support retesting the 105.66 breakout of the dollar on DXY here. So again, if we come down and the markets rally up, but the dollar bounces back up and yields start to go back up as well, you saw that the yields had a nice pullback day as well, which was very bullish for the markets. And then the markets, the Nasdaq, the S&P, the Russell 2000, everything got a bid today, including Bitcoin. So again, this is also why Bitcoin's may see a little bit more upside in the short term, right, if the dollar starts to pull back. Okay, so again, that's essentially my 2 cents on Bitcoin. I still think that we may head lower, but I will not rule out the fact that Bitcoin, it cannot break out from here. And again, a little bit of information as well from this breakout. If this breakout does fail, that is a failed breakout and a failed pattern. Again, a failed breakout, and it could very well lead to a very big down move towards the downside, because now the bulls had their chance, and if they fail here, then they very well could, you know, lead to a very big sell-off, because now they may have given up completely and they've gotten all out of their trades. They stop out, and then they'll let the bears take over from there. Okay, all right, so that's essentially what I'm thinking right here, and hopefully this information is useful to you guys, and I'll keep you guys up to date on tomorrow's video. Okay, and we actually have the commitment of traders report coming out tomorrow, and that'll be a good amount of information for you guys to go off. All right, love you all. Thank you so much, and sign up for Fairness Trading. Copy me on Copy Trades. Peace.